Well, hey everyone, I'm here in my garage right now, and it struck me that it's been a while since I've actually given you guys a tour of what I have in this place. So if you want to check it out, I've got a few bikes in here from my track riding to street riding, and I'll give you a bit of a tour, so let's go for a walk. So this is my Aprilia RS660, but it's not just any RS660. This is the Trofeo edition. What does that mean? Well, it's built for track only, so it's not street legal. So that means it has a few special bits and pieces. First of all, for those of you that don't ride on the track, you'll notice that it has no indicators, no headlights. I'm running slick tires, and I have actually put GP suspension on this bike. Now it actually comes with different suspension, but I found that the GP suspension was just a lot better than the Adriani shocks that it comes stock with. And I have the same GP suspension actually on my Panigale V2. Fancy buttons as opposed to street style switchgear. Different buttons for different modes and programming. This is a full SC Project exhaust system, and I'm also running a Suda slipper clutch underneath here, and Öhlins suspension on the rear. Obviously full track bodywork. So that's the Aprilia Trofeo 660. What else have I got going in here? This is my 2023 Ducati Panigale V2. And it's not just any V2. If they'd built a V2S, which they didn't, they would have put this Öhlins TTX shock on the rear and a full race exhaust system. This is the Tumi race exhaust system right here. And I'm running Z Racing wheels, which are a lot lighter. So these are Z Racing magnesium wheels. The same fancy switchgear that I have on the Trofeo, and the same GP suspension on the front. And of course, the famed single-sided swing arm, which has gone away with the new V2, and I did actually review the new V2 on my channel. I rode it on the street. I think it's a great street bike. Running Woodcraft rear sets, also running a Suda slipper clutch, and the same bodywork for the track. Now, no self-respecting track addict would have a garage without a full stack of slicks. You'll notice here that I have slicks, but I also have these. These are rain tires. And so being in Seattle, of course, rain tires are pretty important because it rains here and you want to ride on the track here. You better be prepared to learn how to ride in the rain. And last but not least, this is my Kawasaki Ninja ZX-4RR. A little inline four screamer that I placed. I uploaded a video on this. The first track day I did it, I uploaded last month. So if you haven't seen that, I'll put a link up here. I also put a video up of a couple of laps that I did on my V2 Panigale as well. So I'll put that up as well. So what have I done here? Well, first of all, this is a Graves bodywork kit. So it's a track kit from Graves Motorsport. And I had my friend in Oregon, Ken Dawson, put the decals on. Looks OEM, this just looks really great. I'm running Woodcraft rear sets, and these are all running in the GP shift configuration. I have put Öhlins in the front. I'm waiting for Öhlins rear shock. It's still on order. Now, I have an Akrapovic full race system installed. And I have also put Woodcraft clip-ons here and the scale speed front brake, and is built specifically for the RS660. So I haven't actually run with these brakes yet. So the master cylinder is all upgraded to the scale speed master cylinder. Had to make a bit of room here so that it would fit and not knock on the bodywork. But yeah, this is the ZX-4RR. There's a few other bikes over here that we haven't discussed. Tucked away down here. This is my MV Agusta Turismo Veloce Lusso. I did a review on this with a test bike before I bought it. A few of you have asked me to do another review on this, like take it out for a good ride. So I'm thinking I might try and squeeze that in before fall ends here in the US. This is in the sort of tall rounder tradition. It's a 800cc triple. It, in many ways, it kind of feels a little bit like an Italian Tracer GT, and I'm sure that the MV Agusta guys wouldn't like me saying that, but in terms of its sort of size and feel, it's a lot like that. Now, one of the things that's really special about this bike, and I'm just going to swing it around on my Dynamoto stands. See how I can swing that around? It's super easy to do this. I can swing it around just so we have a little bit better light. And by the way, if you're interested in these stands, I'll put an affiliate link in the description. You can get a discount by going to that affiliate link. It's a great Australian company, and all my bikes are on these stands. Now, it has what's called an SCS, Smart Clutch System. So it's a system where they call it a recluse clutch. It's an American company, and it actually comes from sort of the dirt bike world. Think of it as a system where you don't have to take your hand off the clutch when you come to a stop. It doesn't require that, but it does have a full quick shifter system, just like you would expect on a modern bike. But when you're riding around town, it effectively acts as an automatic. But you still have you still have to shift with your foot. You still have a clutch up there at the hand lever. Beautiful, beautiful single-sided swing arm. I really love these three pipes here, just really nicely done. Beautiful trellis frame. And you'll notice that every bike that comes out of a factory has the name of the actual engineer that put it together. In this case, Paolo Brisi. Thank you, Paolo. I think that's a really nice touch. Super nice attention to detail. Proper hardcore, big beefy Brembo calipers. You've got a touring screen here, goes up and down as you'd expect. The stock LCD on it's not that good, I don't think. Needs some, probably the next generation to be better. So I've definitely, I put in one of these Chiggy devices, and I've also done a review on that, and I'll put a link up there. But yeah, that's the MV Agusta Turismo. What else have I got? Well, I've got a couple of Japanese bikes over here. I've got a couple of Kawasaki's here to take a look at, so let's have a look. Now, this is my Kawasaki Ninja 1100SX SE edition, and I've done a few reviews on this bike. So let's talk a little bit about it. Well, it's the latest generation of their famed sport tourer, and it's been just a fantastic bike. What have I done to this bike? Well, first thing is I have put a full Akrapovic system on it. So the bread box at the bottom is gone now. Some of the first reviews I did on this was just a slip-on, but since then I've gone all in, and a few of you have asked me to do a ride review. Now I've got the full system on, and I'm hoping to do that soon. Again, before the weather changes, I'm going to do a quick ride around the mountains, and I'll tell you all about how that feels. What else have I done? I've got the Chiggy camera system on here. So this is for the rear, and down here for the front. And that is all connected to the cheeky display here. I'm not sort of intending to do a full review today, really just showing you the bikes. Got the SW Motec tank bag on here. I put the Kawasaki touring screen and foiler on here. I've got the crash bars here. I've done a few other little things to it. Put the fender eliminator on. And that's pretty much all I've done to this bike, because the SE edition just comes really well equipped. You know, you've got the Olin shocks here. You've got the nice big Brembo brakes, nice strong brakes. And now with this tune and the full system, it just absolutely rocks. So I need to do a review on that. Well, my latest reviews have been on this baby, my Kawasaki Z900RS. And this bike, I just love it in the black with the gold rims. I put this unit garage bag on, which is a really great bag, just simple to install. I recently just put this Push screen on, which I like. These are SW Motec heel guards, just nice and subtle, super nice. And I've also put on this grab handle, and that's pretty much all I've done to this bike. Now, I did mention that all of my bikes have these Dynamoto dollies on them. And I did a video on these Dynamoto dollies a year or two ago, but they're fantastic, and I have an affiliate link now for them. So if you're interested in these, just let me know and take a look at the affiliate link in the description and grab a set. But basically what they enable me to do is to cram this many motorcycles into the garage and move them around, which is really handy. So I'm going to move them back into position now. So now, here they are, all nicely tucked away. Track bikes are tucked away for the winter. Street bikes I'll be riding during the winter. And just so easy to do with these Dynamoto stands. So yeah, worth checking into. Super well made. There's a lot of really cheap copies of them online, and they're really crap. So definitely worth investing in these. And last but not least, this is my Piaggio BV400 scooter. 400cc step-through scooter. I've always had a scooter in my garage, and the thing I love about this is it's its practicality. It's just such a practical thing. And I've got my top box on here. I ride it year round. Really simple to ride. And scooters, motorcycles, damn straight they're motorcycles. My first proper motorcycle was a scooter, actually. It was Vespa. And I've owned Vespas and Piaggios and other scooters ever since. So had to have a call out quickly for this, because scooters have always been a big part of my life, and they'll continue to be. So yeah, one half of the garage is nicely organized and the other half of the garage has a car in it. So I do have a car as well, because you know, you kind of need those too, certainly where I live. And yeah, all right, that's enough of the garage tour. So I hope that was useful. Definitely not produced, definitely, you know, didn't create a studio or anything in my garage. So very much a kind of an ad hoc, old style vlogging format, I suppose. Now, I'm obviously in a position where I'm able to have collected a bunch of bikes over the years, and I feel very fortunate for that. So I understand that not everyone has that opportunity. And it's really hard today because there's so many motorcycles to choose from, and it makes the selection difficult, but in many ways it makes it easier too. And let me explain that a little bit. There really is something for everyone today. That wasn't the case for me when I was growing up. First of all, I couldn't afford a lot, and secondly, there weren't as many categories of motorcycles as there are today. And you know, you literally can find anything now for any budget. And it's very, very difficult to find a bad motorcycle. And the do-it-all bike is kind of the nirvana, I suppose, of motorcycles. You know, well, some might say it exists in the form of these tall rounders that are ADV 1 minute, urban the next. But those sort of bikes do a lot of things well, but nothing great. And so if you have the opportunity to have more than one bike, you might say, well, I'll get a really nice dual sport bike for doing 50% sort of, double track, gravel, dirt, and 50% road, which is going to be a lot more practical than even a lightweight ADV bike. Certainly more practical than a large ADV bike like a GS or an Africa Twin or something like that. And then you might say, well, maybe I don't want to do those things, but I do want to tour and I do want to commute, and I want to be able to do that in comfort, in which case, well, there's middleweight touring bikes now that come in the old school sport touring sort of style, like my Ninja, although that's sort of a larger sport touring bike, or the sort of tall rounder bikes like the Tiger 800 and other bikes, which are supremely capable. Really nice middle ground, because I don't know about you, but while I fantasize about going off-road a lot, I don't go off-road that much, and I don't want to do it by myself if I'm going into certain areas that are really off-road. It's just not safe to do it by yourself. And then, of course, I think there's the category of just a good, proper motorcycle. It looks like a motorcycle should look. It doesn't look like something out of a sci-fi movie. And I think that the Japanese classic styling bikes, the universal Japanese motorcycle, or the UJM as some people call it, or the British, the modern retro British motorcycles like the Triumph, Bonneville, etc. Those bikes are just good old-fashioned looking motorcycles that are reliable and are going to run for a long time. And then, of course, there's even more choice. You could go for a bike like the Z900 or Z600 from Kawasaki, or the MT-09 or the MT-07 or the MT-03 from Yamaha. Again, very street biased motorcycles, more modern, futuristic looking, supremely capable. So there's so many options. There's probably a ton that I haven't talked about here, and then maybe that's a whole new video. So if you want me to do a video on that, you should let me know. And I also showed you my scooter. Yeah, I have a Piaggio BV400 scooter, and if I'm honest, I actually ride that the most around town because it's just so practical. Got the top box on there, it's a step-through design, all of those things. And so, yeah, just a sneak peek into my garage. I did talk a lot about those categories. Wasn't supposed to be really rehearsed, just a bit of an insight into the life and times of my garage, I suppose. I hope you also noticed the Dynamoto stands. Those stands are really great. I've used them almost since the day the company was founded. I've been using them for a long time. And I now have a discount code for both Europe and outside of Europe. And I'll put that in the description here. So if you're interested in them for yourselves, go check them out. Yeah, if there's content that you'd like to see me do more of, let me know. I can tell you what's coming up. I'll be taking my Ninja 1100 out for a decent ride now that I've got the full system on it, the full Akrapovic system on it. And I'm also planning to do another ride on the MV Agusta Turismo for folks that have asked for that. I'm planning on doing a video on gear, like what gear do I like, what gear do I ride year round, have a chat about that as well. And I'm continuing to do my podcasts. My podcasts I really enjoy doing, and I'm talking to some really interesting people from the MotoGP world and other parts of the motorcycling world. And so if you haven't subscribed to the podcast, you can get that on your favorite podcast platform as well. It's Kiwi Moto 72. So have a great day, night, morning, wherever you guys are, and keep the feedback coming. I really appreciate it. See ya.